Hello everybody and welcome back to PeterVill Farm. So, Seasons is out. Big news, very big news indeed. Yesterday, Seasons was released and I have installed it onto PeterVill. Now, everything, well the majority of everything is fine. But I do have one very minor issue, and that is just one type of tree. It's gone a little bit berserk, but yeah, obviously we can still continue with it like this. Initially, I thought it might be because I haven't started a new save game, and I decided to try a different save game, and it was still doing this. So I think basically the bark has turned into the leaves. So we're going to be trying it out today. Now what happened is when I started the save game, because it is an existing save game, it did ask me, it prompted me as to whether or not I wanted to keep the same growth rate or the growth stage in the field, and I didn't. Obviously I wanted to reset it to make sure everything was going to work correctly with Seasons. So the Seasons mod has actually reset the fields. Luckily this isn't a problem, because I have actually harvested my 2 fields, so it doesn't really make a massive difference to me. So we are here in early spring. We're going to try and do things quite realistically now. Before I do get into it though, if I press Alt and S, you can see we have the Seasons menu, which is nice and simple, very well laid out. I do like this. It's very similar to the 17 one, which I equally liked. It was very easy to navigate and very easy to understand. So yeah, obviously this is the planting season and harvesting season page, which actually reminds me of the little charts you get on the back of a seed packet when you're doing a bit of work in your greenhouse, if you do work in your greenhouse, of course. This is all very simple. Germination temperatures, we have the planting season, and when you can harvest it. And of course we have the seasons over the top here, so spring, summer, autumn, and winter. We then have the weather forecast, which is just so involved. I just love how involved this is. It's got the precipitation amount, so for example 0.2 millimeters. This is very realistic indeed. Precipitation chance. We even have the wind speed. This is quite something, and the drying potential. Now I'm still learning how to actually use this particular version of Seasons, because it is more evolved than the previous version, and it is great. It's the only word for it, just absolutely stunning. Okay, that was another word for it. It is just incredible. We then have the crop information, so drought resistance and frost resistance. Obviously, I think probably if you're not too experienced with the Seasons modern and the growing requirements of each crop type, you would go for something with a fairly high resistance, just to make it quite easy. But it is very mixed up. Everything has got its own risk associated with it. So you can see at the bottom right hand corner of the screen it says the potential for frost damage increase as the temperatures fall below 0, so freezing point. Potential for drought damage increases when the soil water content is below 12%. Use the measurement tool to monitor the soil water content. So we're going to look at that in a minute or two. We then have the economy, so we can really work out the best time to be able to sell for a good profit. I love this. Look at all these different animal types. So they really have gone into quite some depth here. It isn't just having leaves on the trees in the summer and having no leaves on the trees in the winter. It is very involved. We then have the crop rotation planner, which at the moment I'm not actually going to be using. I still need to learn how to use this properly. As it only came out yesterday, yeah, I'm just really trying to look at it for the first time myself. But yeah, the idea that this is here is great. And finally we have the settings. The season length default is 9 days. I'm actually going to change that to 3, because you know what I'm like, I need to sort of progress with these Let's Plays, as I can't do one every single day. I have to do survival roleplay and also Oakfield Farm as well. So yeah, 3 days is going to be fine. And also crop moisture on, snow tracks on, snow mode on, season introductions on, and yes, Celsius. So that's good. That is very good indeed. So let's get cracking. We have Seasons. So this is the tool just here, the Lizard MT9. Using a measuring tool you can get information on the soil, trees, bales and other objects. So actually, I'm not too sure if the mini bales are actually compatible, but I'll try this tool on the mini bales, the conventional bales. So there it is, as you can see. Let's just run over there. It's an expensive tool, it's £5,000, but it is going to really help your farm if you get it right. Okay. So, let's just go onto here. Activate hand tool. And we have 600 litres of grass just here. So now if I just point it at the grass field, we should get information about this particular field and crop. If we go into the animal page, you can see here as well that the sheep now have a breed. They also have health and they have a weight. You can also see they have an age, which I think is quite nice. And I think that is everything here. But of course, this is a huge step in the right direction. Of course, many would say this should have been in the game as standard. But obviously, this is just outstanding work. It really is. And this is not everything. This is not all of the Seasons mod. There is so much stuff. Grazing, for example. There's also more realistic grass drying, rotting, better audio, improved audio, visuals, loads of stuff. So if you want to read about it, definitely go over to the link, which is actually provided on the mod hub page for Seasons. You can read about everything, you can learn everything, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. Because like I say, I'm not massively familiar with it yet because it has only been released, and I haven't had the time yet to really get my head around everything. So this is just a real first look, not really an educated tour or, how-to video. So anyway, here we are. This is the orchard. What I'm going to do is just go and dump this manure, which I picked up in the previous episode, back into the trough. Now, it might be that I have too much here. I probably do. In which case, I will just leave it. I'll just leave it ready for when it requires more. Because I did fill it to 100%. Okay, good. So, yes, just put it around the corner here. I don't want to be on the grass because the grass is currently growing. And, well, as we now know, it is there's quite a bit more to it than just allowing it to grow. We have to be very careful. So yeah, let's just take a look at the field growth page. So you can see here we have more options. For example, germination failed. So if you've got it wrong, maybe it's too wet, too cold, your crop could quite easily fail to germinate. And well, you're going to have to start all over again. Planted, withered and all that sort of stuff. Germination is a very tricky thing to get right if you're new to it. I think once you have worked it all out and you know exactly the conditions to plant in, you're going to be absolutely fine. I really should put the combine harvester away since it's not really the right time of year to have it out. Seems weird, I know, because the way we've done the Let's Play, before it was just standard, but now with it being all realistic, I must be very careful with the way I do things. Obviously, keeping a combine outside in the winter is just an unwise thing to do. It's not a big problem. But yeah, I need to be super careful with, well, germination. It's very important. So what do we have currently? We have 5 degrees air temperature, 4 degrees soil temperature, which actually doesn't seem too bad. And I'm going to have to now check if anything can be planted at those particular temperatures. So you can see here, pretty much everything wants at least 5. Grass is fine, but that's fine anyway because we've already got the grass planted. So at the moment, there is absolutely nothing which I should put in. I can remember in FS19, I did actually put some crops in when it was below the recommended temperature, and it just didn't do anything until the germination temperature was reached. Then it did work. I think it was not a recommended thing to do, but it did actually succeed in the end. So I think it just depends if you want to risk it. So I have essentially 2 arable fields. I would love to start work in at least one of them today. I was actually debating whether or not I should plough this field here, because it would be good for the ground, and well, there's not much else you can do in the early spring when it is so cold still. So I would say getting a good plough setup would be a step in the right direction. Oh, also, there's a tree here. Let's measure it. 100%. That must be 100% growth. So yeah, you can really play around with that little tool and you can find out quite a bit of information. So before I do start work, let's just take a look here. Drying potential is minus there. Maximum temperature doesn't change a great deal actually until Tuesday. So we're going to have about a day until there is a substantial change. But actually that is tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to change, although there is snow here. There is snow forecast. So we'll have to wait and see. It might be nothing, or when I say nothing, nothing substantial. So I think we can definitely get a tractor and a plough working in the field. I've been taking a look at everything. I think actually the Culti plough might be a good thing to use. So essentially a subsoiler. It does take a fair chunk of horsepower. It's also quite expensive. But if I can do this instead of doing, you know, proper ploughing, then we are going to get things done much faster, because I do have some pretty big fields around here. So let's start work finally. Let's jump into this tractor. I think, and I'm pretty sure, because I know the visuals have changed, the lighting is much different. It seems to be. It probably is different for each season as well, because the lighting does change throughout the year. In the winter it's always quite gloomy, even when it's sunny. But I prefer it. I think this is much better lighting. It was, in fact, I don't think it was that long ago I commented on it, but I said it was very high contrast. I think it was potentially the previous episode. If you want to sit through it again just to hear, then by all means do. But if it wasn't the previous one, it was the one before it. But I definitely commented on the very high contrast of FS19, and that is not the map itself. That is the game. Every map is the same. So yeah, it's far better. In fact, it's sort of going back towards FS17, which sounds like a downgrade, but it really is not. I, in many ways, preferred FS17's colouring. I thought that the FS19 colouring did go a bit more like an arcade game, but overall I do still really like FS19. Okay, yeah, so I think we do just about have enough horsepower. It's nice to have the massive weight on the front. That is going to be a great help for getting the traction down on those front wheels. We don't want the front wheels to be lifting up at all. So actually, now we do have such a big machine, I might start in... No, I'll start in the small one. I'll get the small one done and out of the way, then I can move across to the big one, because I can probably put it on a worker once I have done the first one, because the other field is pretty big. This one is an 8 metre working width, so it is still a really substantial amount. It's a decent amount, that's why I've gone for it. I spent quite a bit of money there. So yeah, I think it is going to be a wise choice to buy this. It is a real game changer. The Seasons mod really does just transform it into another game. In fact, it would have been probably better as a DLC over the John Deere Cotton DLC. I think it would have sold many copies, although I probably shouldn't say that because you got it for free, so I think we should just all really appreciate it. So yeah, that's doing a good job. Very good indeed. I don't know what would be wider. I was debating whether or not I should have the front plough and the rear plough like I had on Felsbrunn, but that might have still been, despite it being a double setup, it might have still been a narrower working width than the 8 metres that we have here. So I don't think I should complain of that. Maybe I should go around the headland first, not too sure. Could do, but I'm not too sure at the moment. So I think I'm just going to continue, and then I'll most likely do the headland last. But of course, if I do change my mind, then I might just go and do it. So we'll see. It just depends how messy it is.
Yo a ti te vi, mami, bailabas como un ángel, me acuerdo de ese party. No lo hacías despacito, no eras como Daddy, eras como Bad Bunny, tu flow bastante cari, alright. Hermoso y con timidez me gusta, y con esa sencillez que asusta. Sabes bien cómo es que es combi completa de cabeza a los pies. Sin effects, mami, yo te entono, te subo el pitch y te derrito el cono. En mis historias siempre te menciono, pa' esa reina necesito un trono. Sin effects, mami, yo te entono, con esos besos, chica, me emociono. Con tu cuerpo y tu nivel, quieres otra vez. Sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, de todos esos placeres que brinda la vida y que nos hace tan feliz. Sé que tú quieres conmigo, amor, de todos esos placeres, como acariciarte y conocerte de raíz.
Almost finished, and of course, yeah, because it is early spring, it still goes dark pretty early, 5, 6 o'clock. So if it was the winter time, it would most likely be dark at about 4. Whereas in the base game, it is just permanently summer. So yeah, about 8 or 9 o'clock it goes dark. So It's another realistic aspect associated with seasons, and there is way more than what I've mentioned today. You'll just have to read the website, which tells you everything. It's so in depth. It's so in depth that even I can't think of everything that's included. I'd have to refer to the website to read it all out. So yeah, there we go. The field is done. It is now subsoiled or ploughed, and that is going to be ready for seeding as soon as the germination temperature is correct. So obviously there are other aspects, humidity, that sort of thing, and yeah, it's just going to be a bit of a learning curve for me, so I'm just going to have to read about it before I do too much. But as usual, my viewers are usually very good at pointing me in the right direction when I do something wrong. So if I do something wrong, which I might have already done, yeah, I'll be looking out for your comments and waiting to be screamed at as usual. No, seriously, you're very good, the way that everybody keeps me on the right track. So let's just go and put this, where should I put it? Over here? Over here? Oh, yeah, that'll be fine. It is nice to be able to actually own the plough or subsoiler. Very nice indeed. So, yeah, that is just a very, very brief first look at the Seasons mod, which we're obviously going to be looking at in much more detail over the coming episodes, and obviously we're going to be progressing through the seasons. I look forward to seeing the snow, I really do. I think one of the things that I really am interested in with this mod is the animals, because I know that a lot of things have been changed. For example, if you keep your animals just in a livestock trailer overnight, they'll die because there's no food. So you've got to be really careful what you do. You need to be kind to them, make sure they have the right amount of food, keep the health up, and I think so far I'm on the right track, but it will only take one wrong move and I will mess it all up. But yeah, I think everything's good. Seems to be. So we'll find out. This series is now going to continue on seasons, and we're going to see what happens. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Realismus Modding, and obviously Giants as well. Until next time, see you again soon. Bye for now.